That's all right. Okay. So part of this whole deal was trying to get, if everybody's going mobile, how do we get a tool into your client's hand that is mobile, that is efficient, that has good data, and communicates with everything else, and has better data than other things. So I'm going to take you through a step creating a brand new person and show you what happens to them and you at the same time. So I'm going to close this down. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. I want to record my screen. Let's see, share screen first. And go there. And you don't really care 2 bits about Zoom, but I want to move this down to the bottom so I can navigate better. So this all starts with MoxieWorks and Real Scout and how they work together. Now, for me, there's a couple of different ways you could do Real Scout to invite your clients. But the way I'm going to show you right now, I think is going to be the easiest for most of you. And the reason I like Real Scout is because your Moxie website's good, but it doesn't update the data every 5 minutes. And in today's market, updating quickly means so much. Zillow updates fast, Realtor.com updates fast, and HomeSnap updates fast. Some of you may be paying for HomeSnap. Great. If you're happy with it, don't worry about it. I kind of like having tools that talk to each other. So if you are in your dashboard, and I'm going to try to go over this every week, and you want to get into Moxie, you click on Apps and Tools, and you click on MoxieWorks, and it's going to single sign on you into MoxieWorks. If you don't know that by now, this is a good time to learn that. And the only reason we're going into MoxieWorks right now is that I set up all of these things up here so that they would single sign on you into the next tool. So like testimonial trees up here, if you want to look at your testimonials, and Real Scout's up here. Well, that's where I want to go, is into Real Scout. And again, I'm only trying to show you how to sign up a client and then what happens on the client's end. So first, I'm going to suggest you come here to add a client. And I'm going to create a new one, brand new. morni.ng.shw@gmail.com. And we'll say that this person's going to be Billy Joel. You have a question, Sandra?
I don't have a question, but I have been trying to play with this, and I found out by creating myself a client, making myself a client with my own email, it was a great way to really learn how the other side sees it. So I would suggest that to those of you that want to really learn it.
Absolutely. And I test it from both sides, so you'll do that. But let me say this, what you see as an agent is not what the client sees by far. It's a much different experience, and some things are hidden. For instance, on the mobile app, the name of the other company is way down at the bottom. Here, you only see listing by and then the name of the company, not the agent, if you're on the client side. But if you're on your side, you get a lot more information so you can contact the agent. So that's why I say you need to see both. But let's continue on real quick. If I put a phone number in here, then text message and stuff works, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to create the client. And then I want to set up, I am not going to set up a listing alert. market activity, select a feed, and then why I can't see it on my screen very well, invite client to select their own listing alert. Now I'm doing it on purpose on this one because I want you to see. Hello? Dixie? Hi, Dixie, can you mute when you're, so if I set up a listing alert, which I really like to do when I'm working with the client actively, it makes a lot of sense that I go through everything there is to go through. But I wanted to see what it would look like if I just have an old client that might be interested in houses around the corner. So I'm going to invite this way so you guys can see the difference of what happens to them. So I invite the client. I've got a little message I can save here. Send a message, you have access on. I can change this. I know you're not looking for homes today, but you might want to know, and I'm just spelling fast, about your neighborhood. Okay, doesn't matter if I misspelled. So I'm going to send that and I'm done. I have now sent an email and added them to my system. Well, if I go back to my email pretty quick, oh, look, I have a new lead. It's Billy Joel. And because I forwarded this to my email address, this is the email that you guys get to see, or that your clients get to see. And I'm inviting them and it's branded for me. And it says get started. Well, okay, I'm going to log in and get started. The client's dashboard is different than ours. So here it starts out. Do you want to put your phone number in? No, I don't. Then it says, do you have a neighborhood or any of the basics that you want to put in here? Number of bedrooms and so on. Well, I don't really want to, so I'm just going to say Wichita for the sake of easy. Your clients may do more, they may do less. Do I want alerts daily, ASAP, disabled, or monthly? Your client can decide. I'm going to go daily. ASAP means immediately, and I'm going to go next. And here's something that I hadn't seen anywhere else for any other kind of tool, because they don't have the machine learning that reads the photographs that tries to figure out what they're looking for. So I want a large backyard that is secluded. I want hardwood floors. I want stainless steel appliances, and I want I'm not going to click luxury bathtub because I may not get very many listings in this market. But you understand, I could pick those things and I go next. And that's it. It's going to start looking for houses based on what those clients' preferences are. Now, at the very top, it will tell you, it will not eliminate any listings that you want to see, but it will try to highlight the listings that have the things they're looking for. And just in general, and Lance, you can jump in here if you want. In the MLS, I don't know that there are such easy pickings about large backyard, stainless steel, do I want a luxury bathtub, etc. And certainly there are not from the client's perspective. From the client, they pretty much get bedrooms, bathrooms, price range, location, and almost all search engines. So I was impressed with that feature. And that's why I wanted you guys to see this is what your clients get if you invite them this way.
Greg, I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
April. So I recently picked up a buyer who I guess must have been working with an agent prior and was frustrated on receiving notifications of homes that they really don't have any interest in. So they're looking for a specific home, certain square footage, whatever, but then they would get information on houses not in the area that they were looking at and like homes that wouldn't at all meet their need. And so is that what this would do too? Even though they go in to create their own search, they still will get notifications of homes that don't meet that? Is that
And
what you just,
in the way that I just set this up, yes, they probably would. However, when you set them up in here, you can make every field in the MLS is searchable, every single field. So you can set up where most people in the collaboration center, you can set up some stuff. You can set up a pretty good one, but if that agent didn't use the collaboration center, say they did.
yeah.
And so I don't know what all the filters are on the collaboration center that may or may not send houses that don't meet their criteria, or it's possible that agent didn't set up the a good enough filtering to take out the ones that don't meet it. But
So
it will, go ahead.
I'm sorry. So it's best that I would do that for them and not allow them to just create their own?
If they started saying, we're getting stuff we don't want, you can say, I can narrow that down for you. You can go in and add filters for them. I'm not going to show that today because that's a whole different critter. But today, I just want to give you a kind of overview of things. So right now, I'm looking at this the way a client looks at it. So you see at the top, if you have any questions, you want to visit the house, it does say who it's provided by, but there's nothing in here about the agent. They can tell you if they're interested or not interested. And as they start looking at the house, they ask you, of the characteristics, was there things here that you liked or disliked? Again, the machine is going to start building a profile that says, let's present these homes first to them and put the homes later that might not quite meet it as well. April will also say in this market, when we've got so few listings, they're lucky they get anything sent to them. And so sometimes they may get a few more, they go, there's nothing on the market. That's right. There's other listings that don't meet it because there's nothing on the market. Feedback. Do you like being near the fire station or do you not care? Do you want to be near a movie theater and so on? And it keeps going down through the schools, some drought risks, some weather, stuff like that. But basically, this is what the client sees when they're looking on here. Now, the next part of this is when you send your client that, I would tell them that there is an app that works in both Android and Apple. And it is a very, very good app. It works with GPS. So if I'm on the map in front of a house and I click the little GPS button, it zooms in and says, you're right in front of these three houses. Which ones are you looking for? It will pull up what's in the neighborhood. Now, much like their filters before, it's very limited. It's how many square feet do you want? What price range are you looking for? Or you don't have to put anything in. If they want to see the pictures, they get a very nice scroll through of the pictures going through this home. And son of a gun, hardwood floors. We asked for hardwood floors. We asked for stainless steel. This doesn't have it. And there are going to be houses that pull up that don't, but there's a stainless steel refrigerator. And so on. If they like the home, they're going to mark that. And it says, tell Greg Fox what you think. It doesn't say, tell Zillow what you think. Tell Realtor.com. Don't tell OpCity. So does everybody follow that so far? Sandra's saying yes for all of you.
Yes. Yes, from
Yes.
C.
I have had a client that is moving here from out of state and we're not actively looking at houses, but we've got a search set up so she can kind of at least see how quickly things are moving and kind of what for the price range, what, what is out there. And she has been sending me that, what do you think? And she's been sending me little, like, I like the kitchen or, like this one, but I wish it didn't have a pool. And so I get emails and I like it because it actually shows like her comment shows up right at the top of my email. So a lot of times I don't even have to open the whole email and I can get the gist of what and I know that she sent me a personal message back. The old collaboration center, when you got an email that they had sent a message in that, it wasn't, a lot of times it was hard to tell whether it was just a new alert for our client or if it was a message from them. So I missed a lot of those messages when they message that way. This way, I'm finding I'm not missing if they're sending me a note and then I can respond back.
That's
So
awesome, Sandra, because I know I've missed so many because I have not as well paid attention to all those emails because you just get a flood of them. You don't know which ones are saying, hey, my client likes that well enough and I'm opening it up. So that's awesome to know.
Yeah, I 100% agree because I did too. And I always told people in the collaboration center, do not send me a message because I probably will miss it. Call me or text me instead. But this way they can send it right when they're in there and I am seeing it. It's still an email format because it's not text. And I don't know if can it be sent to us via text, Greg? Those messages?
yes,
Okay.
if I put their phone number in and for instance, I probably have a text upstairs waiting for me now that says this guy just signed up, because you can be notified by text as well. The one, if you want to call it hindrance, the one thing that bothers me a little bit about this program is if your clients can always put in a new search and save it, but if they want to go back and look at, modify, or do anything with the search they've done previously, I find it a little hard to know where that is. And I believe it's down here in my profile. Excuse me, it's not. My profile, I told you it was hard to find. My profile starts showing all of the things they're building about what they like and dislike for them to see. It's not in my searches. It might be in my preferences. So when I click on my preferences, I may not have a saved search yet. So I would encourage you, and I'm not going to do it today because I don't want to spend that much time on it. I would encourage you very much, set up yourself with a secondary email, something that a Gmail, AOL.com, whatever, and play with this from a client's standpoint because it is different. I would also absolutely put on your own phone, put in your Real Scout. You don't have an individual login. It is a single app. The way Real Scout figures out what kind of login you are is you're going to put in your email address. Now, here's something that I asked immediately, and I'm sure some of you were going to ask the same thing. What if Sandra and Cindy Klein both have the same email address in there? What happens is the client is asked, would you rather work with Sandra or Cindy? And they do that because they want the client to make the choice, not you guys, not because somebody put dibs on every email address in the whole United States in there. They want the clients to work with who they want to work with. That's how it differentiates what they're doing. So when you first log in on your app, you put your email address in. You may have to put in a password. I don't know. I did mine so long ago. But try the app. On the phone, it's extremely easy. There was
a question.
Yes.
What if that client says, well, I don't want to choose, Cindy or Sandra. So I want them both where I can see what's being sent to me. What if they choose both?
I don't think the system knows how to work with two agents at the same time. That's because, just like in Moxie, the companies take your database extremely seriously. I've heard of people that leave Keller Williams and then suddenly all their contacts belong to Keller Williams. That does not happen here. I don't even get to log in and see your contacts. This is not something that anybody else gets to look at. They are yours. So if a client says that, then we have to figure out if there's a way that, and there may be, because I know there's a team set up in here, that we could say, okay, Sandra and Cindy are going to work with this both, and I may have to contact Real Scout to get that to happen. I would expect that's relatively rare, but I prefer the privacy of the contacts over too many people getting a hold of them when they shouldn't, if that makes sense. And yes, I have a text message that says I have a new lead. So I'm going to leave this for a moment to show you a few other things. Is there any questions so far about signing up a new client and the client's experience? Okay, then I'm going to close this and I'm going to go back to my email. So in my email, I get, Greg, all these different ones have come in starting to talk about my new client. Now I signed them up and I'm going to go into Moxie and show you a few, or Real Scout and show you a few other tricks. Question? Nope. Okay. So this one is to my funky email. It says, hi, Billy Joel. Thank you for your request. Just want, and this is the email that comes out of MoxieWorks to Billy Joel that looks like it's from me. And it says, hey, Billy, just wanted to let you know I received your request and I will reach out to you as soon as I can to thank you for using my new search tool. That's what goes to the client. What comes to you is, hey, you got a new Real Scout lead. And you'll notice that this is from Platform. Let me get back up to the top here. Platform MoxieWorks. Because when you put a contact into Real Scout, it pushes right back out to MoxieWorks for you and starts setting up so that those two start talking to each other. So I know that Billy Joel is now my new client. Thanks, Billy. Well, I want to go back into MoxieWorks. So I know I'm going around the tabs up here. Am I going too fast or is this all right? Okay. So I was in MoxieWorks to get to Real Scout. I'm coming back to MoxieWorks to look at my Engage. Now my Engage looks weird because I kind of have all kinds of things in here. And you're going to see I had a new lead auto response that went out a couple of minutes ago. And you're going to see that I have some people I need to stay in the flow, my to-do tasks and so on. And I got that email. Now I did not do this before, so bear with me. I don't know how I know that Billy Joel is in here now because mostly I'm dealing with recruits. Ah, son of a gun, there's a new lead, Billy Joel, that came in from Real Scout. You guys start seeing how they connect together and how you can start monitoring one database instead of 3 or 4 or 5. So I clicked on Billy. I'm sorry, go ahead. So if I click on Billy, is he a client? Well, yes, he is. Do I want to qualify him? Make him a seller prospect? Make him a buyer prospect? Well, I don't know. I haven't talked to him yet. But you can see you can start putting things together. I could put my subscription in. I see that Billy Joel is currently, he gave me his address, so I'm going to go ahead and say he's living in 67206. I don't want to set up a custom search, just so you can keep track of his neighborhood. Great, that's happening now. So Billy Joel's going to get that in a minute. But let's go back to Real Scout. I am now logged in as me, as a broker. And I'm going to start finding things in here that I can do with to try to attract new clients. First, it tells me that Billy Joel opened up that email. And I could go up here and look at my clients and see what Billy Joel saved and all that. Let me take you down a different path. What if you wanted to start attracting clients to work with you through Facebook? I want to put something in Facebook that causes them to set up a search for me that ultimately feeds their name all the way back to MoxieWorks so I can start contacting them, which is exactly what Zillow and Realtor.com do all the time. So way down here in extras, you have social media. Well, there's a couple of ways you could do this. You can share your personalized search portal right here. Or you can come over here and say, I'm going to set up a search for College Hill or Willow Bend or other areas. Now, all the areas won't pull up as well as you would like, but let's type Mays in just for a moment. And I'm going to go, oh, I want to set up a search for Mays Elementary, Mays Middle, Mays South High. Maybe I think there's an attraction just for Mays South High. I do not put in any price or bedrooms. And I put on my Facebook page, hey guys, if you're looking for a home in Mays South High, click here. So I'm going to copy this link to my Facebook page. And I'm going to come over to Facebook. And I'm going to make a post. Looking for homes in Mays South High. The best search in the area. And I'm going to click that link in. And there's my little link. Tells them Greg Fox, huh? Now I post this.
With all your typos.
Yeah, with all my typos. Thank you. I'll delete it in a minute. And what's going to show up for everybody in here is looking for homes there. Click here, search for the minute. And just like I had to sign up a client by sending them in, they get to sign up too. And it's going to pull up. Well, there's no houses to show there. Okay, great. And they're on my site. And. So this is a nice little way for you to start saying, you want the most up to date, and you could write something about that in. You can write in all kinds of things. Since I have
Greg?
typos. Yes, ma'am.
It's Cindy. I just checked the Facebook and it's on there that quick.
Yep.
I just checked. And it's very cool. So thank you for introducing that, but that's how fast it hit your Facebook as far as click here for the maze. Wow.
Yeah, and now I want to delete this if I can. Or at least I will edit the typos so that I don't offend all of my agents out there who already know how stupid I am. So the point is, if you're sitting around the house and you're saying, man, I need to market some today, come in here, do 3 or 4 search links on different areas, click them and put them out. And when they sign in with you, it feeds all the way back to your Moxie and all those things like we just wanted. I would also put something in here maybe, or try our mobile app and it's pull up on your Google Play or iOS store, Real Scout, and let them have at it. So that's really what I wanted to cover today. I wanted to show you that there was an app. I wanted to show you how the progress went through everything. I wanted to show you what the clients get. If there aren't any questions, I'll go over one more time the various search powers you have.
I have a question.
Yes.
Um, Okay, if you put it in Real Scout, it goes straight to Moxie. If you put one in Moxie, does it go to Real Scout?
No, and there's a reason. For that.
Okay,
The reason is you might have a whole bunch of people in your Moxie contacts that you don't want to be searching for homes, like my brother in California or my, so on.
okay,
But what you can do if you're in Moxie, let's say you know for a fact that you want to set up a search for somebody. Let me see if I can get back to my people and find somebody. Let's use Frank Zappa for a moment. Now, the thing is, well, I can't use Frank because Frank's already pending. Hard to set up for a search for somebody who's pending in Moxie. Let's use Denise Ziegler. So if Denise is a client and she's a buyer prospect, once I'm in here, then I can do some things because, see, as soon as I made her a buyer, it brings up my tasks in the active zone. And the second task on here is create a Real Scout home search.
okay.
And when you click on that, it brings up this button that says create search, and it exports her individually over to, and you will see up here, Denise Ziegler was now successfully created from MoxieWorks. So then I
Cool.
just have to type in her search.
Okay,
So Moxie will push out on demand. Real Scout always pushes and pulls. That makes sense. Or
yes,
pushes. So that's how you would do it if you were looking for somebody who was already in Moxie you wanted to set up over here.
okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. Are there other questions?
Yes.
Yes.
So on the, that's really cool about doing the social media thing, and I'm going to do that. A lot of people I know are in Rose Hill and Derby, so I'll probably do 2 different ones. But from that, then when they click on that, then can they personalize it a little bit?
Yes, you
From
get
when-
notice.
So, okay.
Okay. And better.
Didn't see anything on the app for them to personalize because I just downloaded the app
Yeah.
and I had my search and I put it in there, and then I went into the home buyer and I'm not seeing where you go into the app and do that. Am I just missing it?
That's something I'd have to see on your phone. And I'm sorry, I'm not as familiar with that as because they just
Okay.
upgraded the app 3 or 4 days ago. And so I
And
haven't
I saw
played
that
with it.
there's an agent app and a home buyer app.
Absolutely.
Yes, I saw that too.
And the agent app is the name of the app, Lynn, is Real Scout. REALSCOUT, Real Scout. And yes, your clients want to download the client app, the buyer app. The agent app's got more controls, but again, I've not played with it enough, and I know that the complexity of doing some of the very fine-tuned searches, I'm not sure I'd want to do it on my phone app much, maybe an iPad. But phones can get kind of tiny when you have big old thumbs like mine. I did want to show you one thing under my account, I believe, settings. I think this is where it is at. Yes, you can change your password. General, you can default send to yourself on all email alerts. I don't want every single one of my clients' email alerts. I can require a home buyer registration to search listings. You could do that. I have not set that up. You might want to set that up on Facebook. If they want to save a search, they have to register. Then you've got these other questions, but this is something that I do think you might want to look at. Do you want to get text notifications? And do you want to text me when a client sends me a message? So if they message you back through this, And you can get an email and a text, and I'm going to update my text settings. I currently have, I want them to send me a daily client activity report. You may think that's too much. You can email me a weekly summary and email me when a starred client is interested in a listing. And of course, your secondary email. So there's some settings in here, particularly if you want the text message like I get, you would want to set that up. Other questions or comments? Okay, then. I want to go in just for a minute on search. Not going to pretend to give you everything on this, and I got to find my mouse again. If I have a mouse, maybe I lost my battery. There it is. Searching residential in Southwest Kansas. If you want to search something else, say you want to set up a land search or multifamily or commercial, what limited commercial we have, you can do that. Or you can search everything basic. I'm going to stick with residential for a minute. I'm not going to set it up for a client. I just want to do residential. You're going to see that they have put in a lot of things up here. In fact, thanks to Sandra and Lance, they added this field up here about sell, auction, and for rent, because you may not want to do auction or for rent, just for sale. Since that is, now, if you want to do more than one, you can, because it's adding them together. But I'm just going to do for sale. And I'm going to say, okay, my client's not interested about any of this stuff, but they want something that is on rural water. Now, there's no search out here that I've seen that I know of, so I'm taking a gamble, that does rural water anymore. But you'll see everything down here. It says looking for a different search field, add more at the bottom. So I scroll down and I'm going to type in water and see what comes up. Nothing? Oh, great. Well, is it utilities that has those fields? Oh, there's utilities. Did it bring up water and I just didn't see it?
Well, I did I did the bedroom one and then it gave a lot of options.
Yes,
So I
it
didn't
will
see
do
one
that.
for water.
Okay, but let's say, you can have the home warranty. You can see if there's a home warranty purchase. And I'd have to see what it's called in the MLS. The other thing I will tell you, because we discovered this early on, if the field is already up in here someplace, you can't pull it up down in the search options. Because we looked. If you want to find only homes with pictures, only open houses, you can do that. However, there's one field that used to be in here that is not in here anymore. And that one is the listing agent. And this has to do with some rules that changed at NAR, that changed our MLS, that at least temporarily, you will not be able to search for a listing agent in here anymore. They hope to have that fixed within a month or two. And obviously you can, let's see, display only selected. Let's see what we got selected. No, we don't want that. Obviously I'm playing around with some of this. Auction end dates, earnest money, there's a whole list. But technically anything you can search in the MLS, you can search here. Maybe I only want homes with virtual tours. Oh, you could do that. Total specials, total bathrooms, tax ID number. So there's a whole bunch of stuff in here you can add to your search to specialize that for your clients. So early on, we were trying to play with acreage and we weren't getting it to come up. And that's because acreage is already up here someplace. Subdivisions is in here. And by the way, let me make a differentiation here just for future reference. The MLS has a whole bunch of names for subdivisions.
Yes, hate that.
While this pulls up those names, this also uses the Pitney Bowes mailing route to decide if an address is in a certain subdivision or not. So you don't have to worry about the agent putting the wrong subdivision in. Again, that's just for future reference. But I also like the levels are the ones right out of the MLS. And if you have somebody who only wants a 1-story or only wants a 2-story, that's something you can't do as easily on realtor.com or Zillow or some of the other ones. So that's all I really wanted to cover today. There's more in here to be done, but I think if you learn, you can add a client easily, that you can do a Facebook type in that they can register on, that you can require register, and that you can get a text message when somebody starts playing around. You might find this is a pretty powerful tool that interacts with all the other tools, which is my end goal. How do we have one place to go? So having said that, are there any questions?
Great tool.
I'm going to quit sharing. Hello, everybody.
Greg,
Right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
it's Dixie.
Yes, ma'am.
So you showed us how to do it on Facebook with a specific, like a May search. Can we do a generic where anyone can search whatever?
Absolutely. So we'll spend another 10 minutes because I want Dixie to be happy. Come on, Dixie, laugh. I want to hear you laugh. All right. So there was another thing in extras, which is called your landing page. If you click on it, this is a general customized. It is a one landing page that allows them to search for homes. And you'll notice the URL up here for me is gregfox.realscout.me. You all should be the same. So it'd be dixieball.realscout.me. However, most of you, like me, are not going to be happy with the generic. You may want to put a different picture in it because we don't live in San Francisco. You may want to put some. So when you click on customize, they have a way for you to change the photo. You can change what this says. Obviously, it's got your name and logo up there. You can go as far as to put a video in the middle of this page if you want. And I put a little description about me. You don't have to do any of that, or you can just do this upper portion if you want. But now when you take that URL that I showed you right here and put it in my Facebook page, let me go copy the URL. I'm going to right click on it, copy link, go back to my Facebook page. Best home search in Wichita. And then I glue in that link. It's going to put that right there. It's not going to bring up a picture of the page because that's a Facebook rule. Kind of depends on a lot of things. And they can click on it. Or I can take a picture of that. I don't know if I can edit that to show the URL or not. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I bet it will. There's that. It's got a picture of me. Edit post. And that's what it's going to show, or I can get rid of it or so on. But that is your landing page. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
Yes, that was awesome. Thank you. Perfect.
Okay. There's other stuff down here you can look at if you want. There's some widgets that you can mess with to add into a different
Greg?
landing page. There's there's integrations that you can add other tools into, like you can pull your Zillow leads in here and all that. But I don't want to get too confused on that stuff right now. If you want to play in there, help yourself. If you don't want to play in there, leave it alone. Was there another question?
Yeah, so since I'm all new to the Facebook rules and everything, if we're to do that, do we need to put anything in the comments about our name and our company, even though it's in there when we push on it? Does that make
I
sense?
say you can never give too much information on Facebook.
Okay,
However, I see a lot of people who only put the link in because it takes them to a link that has the company name right at the top. And so I've heard that that is acceptable. Do I think that's the smartest way to do it? No, I think you ought to tell people up front who you are and what you're doing. I think that's
Okay.
the best way to make sure that you're covered, and so that nobody clicks on something and gets led down a path that they don't want to be. By the way, here's the neighborhood news report, just so if you want to see what it looks like. And if you view the full report, again, always branded for you. Here's the 4 listings they found, mortgage calculator, market trends in that zip code for the last 12 months, market changes from January to February, sold prices. Want more insight, contact me, because that's who I sent this from. Okay.
Greg,
Yes.
so I have a GoDaddy domain that I bought just to point to my old app. Is there a
Okay.
way to point that now to this new thing, or is that other thing still valid?
When you say the old app, are you talking about an app that you had in, like
When-
it says
when
Dixie
we-
Ball Mobile or something?
As Better Homes and Gardens agents, we had an app, and I think it was through Zap, maybe?
Yeah, it was a different app, but yes, you did. So the answer is yes. You would have to go to GoDaddy. And then you're going to want to find your landing page name.
The one you just showed us?
Yes, and point it
Okay.
towards that.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, thanks.
Okay. Okay, guys, I am going to stop the share again. I want to thank you all very much for the participation. Makes me feel better when I'm bringing you stuff that I think is going to help, and even better when you show up to try to learn how to use it. So if I were Mr. Tulio Pardo, I would be taking my app or my landing page and writing it in Spanish. And then I would do a search and put a message on there in Spanish so that my clients that feel neglected because they don't speak only English will feel like they are being taken care of by a master. So that's my 2 bits. And if you make the search, I think, in my humble opinion, try to introduce it on Facebook where it's kind of a nice, you've been looking for golf course lots. You've been looking for Willow Bend. You've been looking for, those kind of things. Try to find a way to centralize that a little bit more to give people to look for May schools or Derby schools or whatever they are and give it to them. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
I'm
you,
going to end this
Greg.
now. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.